Welcome to Coffee and a Layer Cake. Maybe try number 6 will work. I have been outside for a couple of hours now trying to get this vlog done. I did 2, and both of those um, said corrupted file. I don't know what that means. And then every time I started talking, some butt wipe with no muffler would go by and decide that it was the perfect spot to give it gas. So I think it's around 6:30 now, so it's slowing down traffic-wise. Um, it's like 74 degrees, no humidity. Of course, I had to be gone half the day to the doctor on a day like this. Tomorrow will probably be 95% humidity and 102. Um, so I went back to Ann Arbor again today, just to be told that yes, I do have viability in my heart, but no, I won't do the surgery. Um, and then that's twice I've been called a medical anomaly. On Monday, the rheumatologist, they read my high resolution CT scan, and I used to have ILD, which is called interstitial lung disease, which is fibrosis in the lungs, but I no longer have it. So I guess the oral chemo worked. It's not going to increase my lung capacity or anything like that. The scleroderma is in the bottom of them, so they're still going to stay hard, but there's, you know, less opportunity for infection and all that good stuff. So, and then today, the artery that they were going to open it's too small, so it's too big of a risk. But an artery from the left side of my heart actually has grown what they call collaterals, and they attach to the bottom of my heart. So, who knows? Maybe I'll start feeling a little better in that aspect. I go back the 4th of September, and they're going to discuss the whole LVAD thing, and I've pretty much decided against that. Um, that's just a major surgery. It's 12 weeks minimum recovery, and possibility for infection is huge, and if anything goes wrong, then you go back in the hospital until you get a heart, and blah, blah, blah. So, I really don't know where I'm going to go with that aspect. See, like that, rude ass people driving by with their loud mufflers. They don't even care that I'm out here filming, ass wipes. I just wish there was a law here that you had to have a muffler on your vehicle. Um, Earlier, somebody went by that it sounded like a semi, but it was a pickup truck. And they lived back there. I'd be really upset. That thing drove past my house. It made my coffee cup rattle. Um, so I'm considered a medical anomaly, which I guess just puts 2 more chapters in their textbook on me. At least I get like 13 days off that I don't have to go back to Ann Arbor. God, every 2 days is just a pain in the ass. Um, Hopefully I wake up tomorrow and I'm not so stiff that I can't move like I was over the weekend from the trip last Friday. Um, which at that appointment they cut my amiodarone in half. And I wanted them to stop it, but half is good. Maybe I'll start losing some weight that it put on when I've been on it for 2 years. And then I'm back to juicing, trying to get my energy back. I mean, I felt pretty good yesterday, obviously. I mean, I canned 84 pints of tomatoes. Well, this is going to be entertaining as my neighbor climbs a apple ladder up a dead tree to try to cut it down. I won't go into nurse mode if he falls. I do have my phone, so I can call 911. So other than that, health-wise, I'm feeling okay. Hopefully I didn't just jinx myself. My appetite's pretty much gone, but I did do a vegetable fruit juice that has everything in it but the kitchen sink, pretty much. It's quite filling and very tasty. And pretty soon the Henny Pennies will be landing. The gate is being built this weekend. I guess 4x4s have to be put in the ground or something. I don't know how to build a gate. And then I'm gonna start planting some seeds, late lettuce, carrots, beets, that kind of thing, in containers to put on my patio here. There's still enough time before frost, I think, to get those started and growing and possibly harvest some. Otherwise, they'll get moved into the greenhouse before it frosts. Fortunately, they're pretty good around here. I buttoned my shirt up crooked. With getting that projection. But I would say right before Halloween, I'll move them into the greenhouse just to make sure they're safe. And then I'm going to grow quite a bit of lettuce and kale and spinach and bok choy and Swiss chard, radishes, carrots, beets, all in the greenhouse. And then I'll be starting, of course, plants for the outside raised beds. And I've been watching the sun to see where our sunny spots are to put other beds. And then I got edible flowers, which I've had before, but I didn't know you could eat them. Um, so I think I have about 250,000 seeds. Um, and I realized yesterday, I think it was, or day before yesterday, um, that we didn't have anything in the yard flowering for the poor hummingbirds and the bees. So everything I got seed-wise for that, um, they reseed themselves and they're perennial. So, but they're all edible. I never even knew that. Um, I'm gonna plant some peas too for the pea pods, pea sprouts, whatever they're called. Um, but I've got to go get a brick of peat moss and some cow poop until I start getting chicken poop. But I may just get chicken poop because you can get organic chicken poop, which I think is better than cow poop because it doesn't stink. And you don't have to use as much. So when my front garden bed's getting ripped out, it's just done. Um, Something ate it. I don't know what. Maybe I've had deer up in my yard at night and didn't know. And then that's just going to get replanted with grass because nothing's really growing there other than grass. Marigolds. But I will be doing those. I got a book. Grow All You Can Eat. What does it say? In 3 square feet. It's a pretty cool little book. It tells you what you can plant together as companion crops, when to plant them, how to plant them, what fertilizers they need. All these really cool ideas on containers. I mean, things I would have never thought about. It is apparently written by no one. It's printed in Canada. It's DK. Huh. Apparently, no one wrote this book. It just morphed. I guess it's just a big conglomeration. It's a team effort. Um, but it's DK Publishing, 2015, out of Random House. Apparently, the Canadian Random House. So it's a really good book if you're looking to starting doing container gardening or don't really know what you can plant together, that they help each other, especially with pollination and utilizing space wisely to help retain water. Like I would have never thought to plant carrots underneath the tomato plant, but truthfully, there's nothing underneath the tomato plant but air. So I'll be trying some of those practices out. Hopefully, it's worth the $20 that I paid for it. And then the other one is Karen Fraser's The Easy Anti-Inflammatory Diet. It just helps you plan meals out that are anti-inflammatory. So gives you a list of all the foods that you can eat, ideas of how to find out what you're allergic to, which causes your your inflammatory response to kick in. It's actually a pretty good little book. I mean, it gives you breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks and desserts in it. And there is, if I'm not mistaken, a website. But there's 110 recipes that take 30 minutes or less and 5 or fewer ingredients for each recipe. So, but it does give you all the cooking and, like a regular recipe book, cookbook does. Um, but they're 30 minutes or less and they're all anti-inflammatory. So maybe that'll help with, my lupus issues and my rheumatoid arthritis. Good Lord, I can't even think. I am tired. Um, Midday appointments just wipe me out. And I sat there for an hour for nothing because somebody was late. Um, I thought that was rude. By the time she came out, I'd been apologized to 6 times. She got it. I am, and that was it. And I said, it's redundant. It doesn't get my hour back, so let's just get this over with. Um, I get grouchy when I'm just sitting there and there's people hacking their brains out and sneezing and all this other stuff, and just, ugh. People don't cover their mouth anymore. What the hell? My mom still yells at me if I cough and don't cover my mouth, and I'm 50. Um, and I go and wash my hands or use hand sanitizer at least. Um, and I generally do it in my elbow, so it's not all over my hands, so I'm rubbing it in my eyes and all that shit. So it's just people, just, I don't know, raised differently than I was, I guess, but I came from Southern values. Yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, that kind of thing. And if you did something wrong, you knew you were going to get your ass beat. Um, with a spoon, a switch, a belt, whatever was closest at hand, and God forbid if you ran around in a circle while you were getting it, because then you're just going to get it again. I still don't understand. Stop crying right before I give you something to cry for. Obviously, you were crying for a reason to begin with, but it is what it is. Too bad that doesn't exist now. Um, there were 6 very small children at the CVC today, which is a huge atrium waiting area, and these kids were just throwing absolute screaming fits. And their parents were on their phone like nothing was going on, and one of them came and said by me, I said, not a good idea, I have mono. They gotta have moved real quick. I don't like small children that are undisciplined. I have been known to say, get a leash, because your kid is running all over the place. I almost ran over one because the mother was on her phone and didn't even know her kid got out of the car. And ran behind me when I was backing up. Thank God I have a backup camera. Or I'd probably be in prison right now for negligent homicide. Who knows? But these damn phones, people put them down. Put your phones down and look at people. Talk to people. I mean, I'm talking to lots of people through this. It's not, well, you might be watching me on your phone, but whatever. I'm talking about the ones that they don't even pay attention to their own children. They're like accessories. It's ridiculous. I'm done with that rant. God forbid if I start on this stupid drivers rant. 3 people almost hit me today on a phone. So, been there, done that, wasn't pretty. Don't want to do that again. I wish our state really enforced the no device law or whatever they call it. My phone rings through my car is the only way it'll work. So if I try to dial it and I'm driving, it'll say incompatible. Which is fine. It's perfectly fine because I can't hold a phone and drive at the same time. I'm not that coordinated. So I did film a video down in my studio, but it didn't get uploaded because it ended up not being true, because I had said, I'd given like a timeline for when orders were going to be shipped, and I ended up doing it that night anyway. So it was just a moot point to put it up. I will do one down there again though, so you can see what I'm working on. And then I'm going to be working on a video for Quilt As You Go, a different technique, so there's not all that sashing in it. I pretty much got it all figured out, and I'll do step by step on that. And then I do have one down there that does need sashing, and I'll show a different way to do that. That quilt's been hanging down there on my design wall for 5 months. So, um, those two things will be. I'm just gonna call it my hillbilly quilting or hillbilly quilter episodes because I don't follow the rules. I do it hillbilly. I do it what I'm comfortable with. I'm not good with rules. I lived with rules as a nurse for a very long time, um, and I'm not going to enforce them on anybody else because I think it's stupid. I'm not quilt police. I lost my badge a long time ago. Um, I do it. I quilt what is most comfortable for me. I don't go outside of my comfort zone as far as difficulty or um, the amount of time it takes. I like it to be simple um, and quick, I guess is the best word. So once I get through these medical appointments and all that good stuff, I hope to be getting back to quilting because it's getting that time of year. I have, I want to say 8 tops down there that need to be quilted, but with the heat and humidity and all that crap we've been having lately, I haven't felt like doing it. Well, I just haven't felt like doing it, period. So, but my frame's all set back up, my machine's back on there, my batting came in. Um, so I need to get those done because 3 of them are gifts, 4 of them are gifts. Um, so that's on my agenda. I will show you how my mid arm works. I don't have a long arm. I wouldn't have a long arm because it's a big investment for someone like me that it's just a novelty quilter. I mean, I don't do it. I wouldn't do it for a living. I'd be too nervous. I did at one point want a robotic one, but that's a mortgage. Um, and I'm not Jenny Doan. So, um, that's on my agenda. And then maybe doing some of these recipes from this book for those of you who do have arthritis and gout, fibromyalgia. Uh, let's see, what else is this one for? Um, there was another one. Cardiovascular diseases, um, diabetes, celiac, Crohn's, endometriosis, Graves, Hashimoto's, pretty much anything that's autoimmune is covered by this diet book, and it also has stuff in here about medications. Um, oh, that was weird. It gives you a whole list of foods that are really good by themselves. You don't even have to cook them to help with your inflammation, especially when you're having a flare. She wrote this in the foreword. It talks about why she wrote this book. It was for a friend of hers um, who battled um, autoimmune disorders up until it ended. So, but she wrote the book for her, um, and it just became really popular in that group. It was in California, I believe. Um, so, she's a registered dietitian too, and a couple of the things I can't have, like turmeric, um, and I don't eat fish because I can't stand the smell of it, and I don't eat olives because of the salt. I don't really like olives. I mean, I've had olives, but they're so salty. I don't like salty food anyway. So, and then I'll add my little tips in on it because I don't use salt 100%. I use spices and herbs to flavor my food rather than salt. So, um, and I will put up some of my canning stuff. I mean, I did 84 pints of tomatoes last night. My pickles are amazing. I had some the other day. Beets are really good. I haven't had the green beans yet. Um, I had my tomato juice today. It was amazing. I wish I would have made more. I may have to go back and get a few more tomatoes to do just straight juice. Um, just because the low salt one at the store is disgusting. And I used herbs and spices in this, and it tastes like it has salt in it. And I mean, it does have some canning salt in it because that's required due to the pH and acidity and yada 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 when you're canning. If you're a canner, you know what I'm talking about. Um, but I didn't use, you know, anywhere near what they say to use salt wise. And I use sea salt rather than whatever that stuff is called for canning, which I think is just a smaller grain of salt, sea salt. Obviously, you don't use iodized salt when you're canning because that'll just be a catastrophe. Um, we're still debating on doing the peach jam because we still do have peaches coming in. Um, just not a lot of them. Our crop got really screwed with the weird weather we had, too much rain and things like that. And then Nick is doing another version of sauerkraut, the original where you put it in the crock and it does whatever it does. Um, not I did lacto fermentation, so um, it actually stays green still, rather than what everybody else knows as normal sauerkraut looks like. I just saw a really pretty cardinal fly over to the pine tree. Um, so then, of course, there'll be my greenhouse videos, and we're going to do a progression of how plants are doing and what did well, what didn't, what we need to change, that kind of thing. Because I bought a bunch of flower seeds, like I said, I think, that I didn't know you could eat. That's just mind-boggling to me. It's like, how do I not know that? But I've grown them for years. Most of the ones I got this time, though, are perennial, so I'll be starting a lot of those just so that we have pockets of flowers blooming throughout the year for the hummingbirds and the bees. My poor little hummingbird was in the chamomile on Wednesday, and I'm like, I don't think those have nectar in them. They have pollen. I don't know if hummingbirds need pollen or not, but it got a little bit from there, and then it flew off over to the neighbor's house, and I'm like, cheater. Um, but he's been around here for quite a while. He's an emerald green and turquoise one. He's really pretty. I had one that did not like him and ran him off for a little while. The one that dive bombed me when I went out the front door and like hit me right between the eyes. Of course, I had to go to work that day and explain why I had a band-aid between my eyes. That was real fun. So, you don't want to get dive bombed by a hummingbird. It was a big one too, and he was just mean. I didn't like him at all. And the other odd thing when I was at the rheumatologist is he told me to start smoking peyote, and I'm like, okay. Um, I don't live on an Indian reservation. And I haven't even looked. But apparently it's really good for inflammation and pain from inflammation. Um, but I'm pretty sure it's a psychogenic. I really don't need any help in that department either. So, I mean, I'll look into it. I won't do CBD oil. I will not do cannabis. I will not do medical marijuana, none of that stuff. Not my thing. I have a very large bee that keeps buzzing by. Um, so, on to the Amazon thing. It's not happening. It's just too much of a problem. That's what crashed my site. When I linked them, the ASN numbers would not match up, and it was just an absolute nightmare trying to get that figured out. But it's because people are not paying attention, and they're putting the numbers in incorrectly. So when you go to list that fabric that's supposed to have the ASIN number, which is Amazon Seller's Identification Number, they don't match up. So it would give the wrong photo of the description of what I was trying to sell. And there's no way for me to regenerate numbers that I know of. So the store site is going to remain open, and just I'll do more advertising, that type of thing, but that's where it's going to stay. I'll renew it in December when it's due, because I'm not going back through that whole fix the crash thing. It was all the links, 228 of them that broke because of the ASIN numbers not matching up, so I won't be doing that. I had a couple people ask me on Facebook if I was still planning on doing the Amazon, and I'm not. I'm not doing Etsy because they charge you out the nose. There's another one besides eBay, and I can't remember the name of it right now. Shopify, I'm not doing that either, because they won't link up with what I have now. So there's the answer to that for you. Those of you who had asked me about Amazon, I'm not doing it. I will look at some other payment options other than PayPal. I had one before, and they kept saying my something. It was had to do with my tax ID. It didn't match up or something. Um, so I've submitted all that paperwork and everything, and still haven't heard back from them. It's been 6 months. Um, so I'll look in. There's a couple other options that they have opened to utilize other than PayPal. I do like PayPal though because it is a guarantee. Um, and a purple bus just drove by my house. Oh wait, no, that's mauve. Um, Interesting. So I will be looking into that, and I'll let you guys know um, what's coming along with that. But as of now, Amazon is not happening. It's just I don't need that stress. I'd rather be sewing instead of spending hours and hours and hours and hours and hours uploading stuff to Amazon. That's just not going to work because I already did that. So um, tutorials will be coming. They're not. I mean, they just don't happen overnight. You got to edit them and all that stuff, and um, you have to put them together. I forgot. Split them. That's what it's called. Um, so and plus, you film it as you go along. You just don't like have a quilt pop up out of nowhere. Um, so, and I'm not like I said before. I'm not going to show you how to sew a 1/4 inch seam or anything like that. Um, I'm going to show you how I put things together easier rather than the 9 bazillion different steps you have to do on some of these blocks. Um, I was hoping to start the Donna Jordan. I forgot what the name of it is, but I put the video up the other day, her YouTube video, which is it's so easy it blew my mind. Um, but I'm going to do the first part of this quilt as you go video. I do have that ready to start on that. Um, and that'll be the first video on that. And then as it progresses along, I'll just add more videos to it. Like joining it and, you know, the best way to sash it or not sash it or why you wouldn't have to sash it. Um, there's so many techniques out there and it gets confusing when you go do quilt as you go. But for those of you who don't have a mid-arm or a huge throat space, it is a viable way to get your tops quilted and be done with them when you're done and not, have to send them out to the long armors or, try to do a FMQ on your domestic machine that really isn't made for quilting. I tried it, never again. I've never been so sore in my life. Um, that's a lot of muscle. Um, oh, now I have blue jays over there. My grandparents' favorite birds, blue jays and cardinals. So I guess my grandparents are coming to visit and say, "Hey, we knew you were special." So, I won't be doing any canning videos. I can tell you that because I learned from my grandmothers and my mom the southern way to do it. I have a ball canning book, and it's pretty much a waste because the way I learned, you don't put lemon juice in everything, citric acid or pectin or whatever else their preservative is that they push in their book for you to buy. The reason I'm canning my own stuff is to get away from that. I don't want MSG and I don't want citric acid in my tomatoes. I just don't. And what you have to go buy it in a bottle. You can't use a real lemon. Which there's things added to the lemon in the bottle in order to keep it on the shelf. And I'm trying to get away from that. Well, no, I am getting away from it. I'm not going to try. I am. So I do it differently. And truthfully, I do it out of the top of my head. So teaching someone to can in a video, not my thing. There's some great ones on YouTube, though. One is Becky's Homestead. Amazing lady. She's a little loud. No, that's not her. She talks really fast. Becky does. And the other one is Mrs. Volfe. And she's a homesteader too. And it's our half-acre homestead. She's very loud though, but she's southern. She does a lot of the things the way I learned how to do it. She teaches you how to dehydrate things I never even thought about dehydrating. I didn't know you could cook eggs and dehydrate them. Um, she makes tomato powder, onion powder, all this stuff in her dehydrator, and I just had never heard of it before. So um, we have a dehydrator, but not that kind that has a temperature control. So I won't be doing any of that because it's pretty involved. Um, I didn't even know they came with all those different trays and stuff in them. And then of course our herbs. Nick just did stevia tonight. Um, we have rosemary, thyme, sage, which I need to do a sage bundle and get it dried. Um, chives, you name it, we've got it. Which we'll be expanding that too into a bigger bed. Um, we're doing garlic. I guess you plant that in the fall. Elephant garlic. So there will be an entire raised bed of just that. And then we were just discussing doing onions, and I've never had good luck with doing onions. Green onions I can grow. Regular, like, onions, no. Um, I have no clue how you get those big onions. Been watching a lot of YouTube videos, though. Um, if it's not on Amazon, it's on YouTube. It's my new philosophy. So, and I am actually drinking regular coffee today, along with my water. I hear a duck quacking. Oh, no, it's not. It's a dog. Sounds like a duck. Finally, the traffic's dying down, so I know now to come out here at like 6:30 to film until it gets too cold. Um, or, you know, I won't film on the days that it's 9,000 degree humidity out here, which was what it was yesterday. It was stifling. Um, and I need to write my blog this weekend too, but I plan on sewing. I need to clean up some stuff in my sewing room in my studio. Um, and make the hole bigger in my sewing table for my 4411 to fit in there. It's an eighth inch too small. So that can be done with a router to round it off. And I think I'm going to have to help with the greenhouse construction. It's still in the dining room in its boxes. I don't know which box the instructions are in, so therefore I have not gotten them out. Um, but I need to do that so I know everything we need in order to get it started because Nick will be going on outage here pretty soon, which means not home. Um, home long enough to shower, sleep, maybe grab something to eat, and go right back to work for 3 months. About that. Um, Final retirement date was given today as of February 1st. He's retired 2020, so um, he'll be home to do all this homesteading stuff. I mean, it's not like we're going to get cows and pigs and goats and all that stuff, just chickens and um, raising vegetables and things like that just are truly organic and not overpriced. Um, Getting started is a little more expensive, but once you get it started, you're good to go as long as you do what you're supposed to do. Again, watch the YouTube videos. Um, so, I think that's about it. I'm going to have to edit some of this out due to length. Um, no music. Hopefully I can lower the background sound for any car noise, but I mean, it was pretty quiet. As you can see, it's a different view. I turned my swing around thinking it would make it quieter on this side. Didn't really work. But I do like this view. So, um, I wanted it to face that way, which is the backyard, but when I'm filming, the sun like blurs it out. You couldn't even see my face, so I did some test videos. So, that is it for today. You're up to date on my miracleism and what's coming up. Um, so until next time, create well. Have a good one.